Hello, everybody. Welcome to our webinar. Congratulations to all of you for being admitted to KH. Many of you might have already seen our previous webinars and therefore received some of the information regarding the things that we will talk about today. However, this webinar focuses more on EU non-fee paying degree students. My name is Claudia Saggiante and I work for the Information and Service Group here at KH. With me today, I have the student ambassador, Carolin.
Yes, hello, my name is Carolin. I am from Germany. I'm in my second year of my master's in medical engineering. So I arrived at KDH in August 2020. And yeah, it's great to be here today.
During this short presentation, we will guide you through some practical matters like finding accommodation on your own and student life. Some questions that have been sent by you will be answered during the presentation, and the chat will open at the end of the session. All the information that you will receive today is available at our new at KH website, so you can always check there if you missed something. So first, I'm going to talk about finding accommodation on your own, since non-tuition fee-paying students are not guaranteed housing through KH accommodation. So here there are a few tips. Don't expect to find a long-term rent straight away. Be open for short-term rents in the beginning, as it might be easier to have a place while you are in the apartment hunt. Make sure to look outside the city center. Stockholm has great public transport, so even though you find a place on the outskirts of the city, it's often easy to get into the city. You can also post your own ad, so landlords can contact you directly. And remember, don't pay anything in advance. There are some external housing queues that we can recommend. Carolin, can you explain us about the SSSB housing queue?
Yes. So SSSB is a housing queue just for students in Stockholm. They offer a lot of different accommodation types. So they have corridor rooms, but also student apartments or student like with several rooms. So for more than one student. And how it works is that you can apply for the different types of accommodation or the different rooms, and the person with the most queue days gets the room. So you can apply already now. I would also recommend that you can apply with your admission letter and your personal email address, and then you can collect up to 90 days before you arrive to KDH. And then you have to join the student union to collect more days. And then you can just have a look, already apply for the house, like the housing you see you're interested in. And yeah. And don't be afraid. At some places, they say that you can just apply with the KDH email address. I would just try, and then they will send you an email if something is not working. And you can also find a lot of information about SSB on the website.
Great tips. Thanks, Carolin. And there is also Academic Squad. That is a website that is managed by Stockholm Federation of Student Unions. SSCO. On Academic Squad, people can make a post if they have a room or apartment to rent. SSCO that manage the site often go through the posts to make sure that there are no scams and that the rents are reasonable. What's also good about Academic Squad is that you can make your own post showing that you are looking for a place to stay, and so they can contact you directly. But remember, if you find private accommodation, make sure to check all the information carefully and don't pay any deposit or rent in advance. The accommodation group will hold a webinar in April, so you can find more information at our new at KDH website until then. So housing is the biggest expense you are going to have every month. So Carolin, can you tell us a little bit about living expenses in Stockholm as an international student?
Yes. So I think in the beginning, it looks like Stockholm or Sweden is very expensive, especially if you come from other countries in Europe. And yeah, we already talked about housing. It's definitely the biggest part of my budget. I also spend a lot of money on food. There, of course, it depends a little bit what you like. I also like to go out every now and then and go out for a drink, which is definitely more expensive than in Germany. But you can also save a lot of money there. So there are cheap supermarkets. It's very common to cook your own meal at home and then warm it up. There are microwaves all over the campus. Then I spend money on sports. I play field hockey, so I have a little fee there. But there are also places where you can do sports with student discounts. There's a gym on campus where you can get it a little bit cheaper. And then, I think traveling is also, for me, where I spend some money. You can get discount for public transportation, and it's also very easy to go around by bike in Stockholm. And also if you make day trips there, like for the trains in Sweden, I think it's a very reasonable price, and there you also get student discounts. So I think overall you can estimate around 10,000 kroners, but of course it depends a lot on the housing, because I think that makes the biggest difference.
Thank you. So now I'm going to talk about insurance. Apart from the personal injury insurance that applies to all students at KTH, master students from EU EEA country who are exempted from paying tuition fees are not provided with any additional insurance coverage through KTH. That means that some insurance needs to be purchased by the students themselves. The personal injury insurance is rather limited, as you are only insured during school hours on the school property and during direct travel between your home and the university. Make sure to bring your European health insurance card. With this card, you are entitled to the same standard patient fees as Swedish citizens for emergency healthcare and certain types of non-emergency healthcare. If you're an exchange student, you are covered with an additional insurance called Student In. Make sure to read about it to see if it covers all your needs on the new at KTH website. So if you're staying in Sweden for longer than 12 months, you can apply to the Swedish personal number. You can do it once you arrive to Sweden and go to one of the tax agency's offices with all the documents that they need. Having a Swedish personal number will make your life easier, like accessing non-emergency healthcare, borrowing books from the public library, or opening a bank account. And we advise to open a bank account because it can be very convenient for paying bills and receiving incomes. If you want a Swedish bank account, we recommend that you apply for one after you have obtained your Swedish personal number. We strongly recommend you to bring an international debit or credit card. Never bring personal checks or large amounts of cash. Personal checks are not accepted at all, and most banks don't accept cash deposits. Please make sure that you have enough money to cover your expenses for the first months of your stay. And also make sure to read information on New at KTH on their banking and payments. So if you have obtained a Swedish personal identity number, as I mentioned before, you are entitled to healthcare at the same standard patient fee like any other Swedish citizen. Dental care is not fully subsidized and therefore is relatively expensive in Sweden. We advise you to acquire dental insurance if you don't already have one. If you're planning on working during studies, no additional work permit is needed. Foreign students are allowed to work in Sweden during their studies. However, be aware that it can be difficult to find a part-time job in Stockholm, especially if you don't speak Swedish. So now we move on to student life with Carolin.
Yes, so I prepared a few slides about my life at KTH in Stockholm. So I think I spend most of my time on campus. Since I started doing COVID, I had a lot of courses online. So but I still went to campus to meet with friends. There are a lot of projects, so it was very nice to meet in person. You have the library, there's one picture, but there are also a lot of other buildings where you can go to study. There's small rooms for project work or something. So I think I ended up coming to campus a lot, as even though everything was online. But I also spent a lot of time in the student union, especially now during the last year where COVID was not a big issue anymore. I think what my favorite piece of clothes became my overall. You see it on the pictures there. You can get an overall depending on what you study, or if you join an association, they have different colors, and then you can collect patches from events or from travels and you put them on. And yeah, if you arrive in August, you will see people running around with it everywhere. So yeah, I think that's something very special about the Swedish student life. Yeah, then there are a lot of different events in the student union. Like you see one picture there from the banquet of last year's welcome reception, and also from a Christmas dinner or a breakfast event we organized with the master and international students. So yeah, I think there's always something going on campus or in the student union. That's why I spend a lot of time there. Yeah, but also in general, Stockholm, I really like the city itself. In summer, there are a lot of places where you can sit outside. There are a lot of parks, there's a lot of water. It's very common to have barbecues. You can find public fireplaces where you can just bring your own wood and your own food and make a barbecue, or you just go and have a beautiful sunset. What I also, one very typical thing is fika, which means you just have a coffee and something to eat. So I think I spend a lot of money on that. Very, very typical is the cinnamon bun, but then there are also different other stuff, like there are special days for different kind of food. So for example, there's a waffle day or a day for the semler. You eat that during February. So all around the year, you can find different pastry to eat for your coffee. Yeah, also winter, it can be very cold and very snowy, and I'm very happy that it become warmer again. But it's also very nice if there's a lot of snow in the city, you can go skiing or cross-country skiing right in the middle of the city. So I think that's very unique. Or just go to an ice hockey game or go hiking. I think Stockholm has a very nice location, so you can do a lot of outdoor activities right around the city. I already mentioned that I also spent some money on traveling. You can do great day trips around the city, for example, Vaxholm, which you can reach by ferry, or the archipelago, which is right in front of Stockholm. So there are a lot of different islands around the water, which is nice in summer, so you can go swimming, but also in winter. I think one of my highlights was to see the Northern Lights there in January. We were very lucky this year to see them that far south. Then last year I did a trip to Gotland with some friends. Gotland is the biggest island in Sweden, and you can also reach it by public transportation from Stockholm. And we had a car and we went camping for free, so you can just take a tent and camp wherever you want. And then I also went north in winter to Östersund, so to see the biathlon World Cup. I think that's also very special to go to the north of Sweden. You can go skiing or you can just go hunting for the Northern Lights. But in general, very diverse country and a lot of different places to see.
Thank you, Carolin. Okay, so now that you know a bit about KTH and some practical details, we can talk about your first days at KTH. We at Information and Service arranged 2 days that we refer to as arrival days. This year, those days will be on the 20th and 21st of August. The extensive 3-week introduction program offered by KTH and Student Union includes the traditional KTH welcome reception. It is a great way to make new friends, social activities as guided city tours, information meeting. This is a great opportunity to settle down in Stockholm with hopefully good weather without courses or assignments. Regarding this program, it will be another webinar held by the Student Union on the 14th of June. So if you arrive to Sweden and KH on any of these days, there will be a free bus shuttle that will take you from Terminal 5 from Arlanda Airport to KH Entré, that is the main campus. You will get help from us with activating your KH account and collecting your access card. You will get to know the student union and ask questions. The arrival days are intended to help you to smoothly begin your time at KH and Sweden. Carolin, did you arrive during the arrival days?
No, unfortunately, I couldn't when I arrived, but I experienced it last year during the welcome reception, and I think it's very nice, and I would recommend everyone to come. First of all, you have the shuttle from the airport, and it can be very confusing how to come from the airport to the city center, so that's already very nice. But then also it's a very nice atmosphere on campus. You meet a lot of new students, you also meet older students, so you can ask questions, and also getting your KDH account and everything. Yeah, it's very, very nice and a very nice atmosphere. So I would recommend, and if I would arrive again, I think I would try to come during the arrival days.
Thank you. So the upcoming webinars beginning 27th of April, accommodation for fee-paying students. And then we have being a KDH student, you will get tips and tricks for the student budget. In June, you get 2 webinars, arrival and introduction, and KDH Student Union. So be sure to connect in these 2 webinars. So, Carolin, how is your experience to be a student ambassador?
Yes, it's very nice. I get a lot of different questions. So if you haven't heard about the student ambassadors, you can find us on the website with like our name, a little text, the country where we're from, what we study. So if you have any particular questions about the program or like country specific questions, just reach out. Don't be afraid. We are very happy to answer all your questions. You can also join the Facebook group if you don't want to ask your questions yourself, but see what other people might ask. That's a place for you to have a look, or join other social media channels to see what's going on. There's also the project called Connect with the KDH Student. You might have already received an email from a student of your program where you can have a call, and then you can also ask questions you might have.
Thank you. So now we will answer the most common questions we got from you. So the first question is SSSB a realistic option to find accommodation for the first semester, or is it too early to be able to get enough points? If we cannot find accommodation through SSSB, where can one find student housing, such as corridor rooms? Carolin, can you help me answering this?
Yes, of course, it's a very tricky question. We can't promise you when you get a room. It depends a lot on who else is going to apply. I know that there are like new student housing, so that might be a little bit easier. But I think you just have to try, collect as many days as you can. You might have also to be a little bit more spontaneous. They don't open corridor rooms in June and July. So you might not get a room before August or even September, but they sometimes have also very short notice rooms. So I would just apply, even though the people have like, there's maybe written that the person has already more days. You can still apply because the person might decline. So I think I know a lot of people who found housing in the first 2 or 3 months. So I think there's a chance, but of course we can't promise, and it also depends on what kind of recommendation you're like interested in. I myself also found something on the private market. So you can find different websites on the KDH website. They're listed there. So just have a look there as well. And be aware of scams, but then there's also an option to find good housing there.
Okay, so the second question, is it correct that EU students can use their country's ID card and don't need a passport? Yes, it's true. Citizens of an EU EEA country can use a valid national identity card as acceptable identification. A valid passport is always approved, of course. You can find more information on the KDH website. Next question. Do you provide any temporary accommodation into KDH campus until we can find or permanent one? If so, when will we be informed? As we mentioned before, KDH does not provide temporary accommodation, but if there are any available rooms left for students that are not guaranteed housing, KDH accommodation will inform to you by June. However, as it is not guaranteed, we do recommend that you start looking for accommodation as soon as possible. Next question, are there student discounts for swimming pools anywhere? Carolin, can you help me with this?
Yes, I know that there is a swimming association in THS. So I think if you go swimming with them, you can get it definitely for cheaper. In general, there are like different associations for different sports where you can go to do sports cheaper. Or you can use your Messenger card, which is like the student card, where you can also get different discounts. So I think you will find a place. Stockholm is offering a lot of discounts for students, especially for those kinds of things.
Great, thank you. Next question. I've got the admission results in universityadmissions.se. Is there anything else that I need to do? You don't have to accept the offer, but you have to decline it in case you don't want to accept it, so another student can take your place. And the last question, how can I check on which campus my courses are going to be held? You can find it on the program information page on the KDH website. Some courses within the program might be held on different campuses. So you know, you have to check more on the KDH website. So that was all the questions. So thank you everyone for listening. And I would like to thank Carolin for joining me and helping me today. The chat will open soon, so you can ask their questions if you might still have. And those that are not coming into the chat, see you in August, and hopefully you can join the other webinars. So now we will answer the questions in the chat. You can find it at the new at KDH. You will also get a link from us in the meeting chat. Be aware that it can take a couple of minutes to come into the chat because it can be a queue. And the chat will be open for a while as long as we get questions from you. So see you there.
Thank you.
Thank you.